Hi, Jenna. We spoke yesterday about PG&E and the deadly California wildfires. Shares plunged earlier this week on speculation that its equipment started the blaze or one of the blazes. What's the latest?
Yeah, Shahan, so quite a turnaround for PG&E. Shares soared 44% at the open of trading in New York City today as California regulators kind of put some of the fears to rest about the company going bankrupt from those California wildfires. One California regulator saying that he couldn't imagine the utility going bankrupt, saying they have to have the stability and economic support to get the dollars they need right now. And citing these comments, Citigroup has upgraded its rating for the company to a buy rating from neutral. And this support from California regulators is so crucial because, as you mentioned, the stock was down quite a bit earlier this week on fears of what would happen if it didn't have that. PG&E has already come out and said that it's exhausted its revolving credit, and its liability is more than its insurance coverage if it is found responsible for these fires, the deadliest blaze in California history. And authorities are saying, though, that they're looking into a second origin for the start of the fire.
And then, of course, chip maker NVDA gave a disappointing sales forecast. How does cryptocurrency mining fit into the company's inventory problem?
Yeah, so NVDA opened today down 20% from its closing price. This after the company reported some really poor earnings. It missed estimates and dimmed its fourth quarter projections. And it does have to do with crypto, as you mentioned, because it has this oversupply of parts from cryptocurrency mining. And as we know, crypto has crashed. And analysts are saying that until NVIDIA really gets rid of this oversupply, it can't really pick up its new orders. And so just to give you an idea of this inventory problem, it came in at $1.4 billion for its inventory. That's up about $300 million from 3 months ago in the last quarter. And the company's CEO called this its crypto hangover, but Goldman Sachs didn't think that this inventory problem was so funny. It raised its hand and said, we were clearly wrong about NVIDIA. It removed NVIDIA from its conviction list and also slashed its price target for the company to 200. Now, this is the third time that Goldman has cut its price target for the company since October.
Now, the U.S. Central Bank is seen as on track for a December rate hike, but there is there any indication that there could be a pause in 2019?
Yes, so the Fed Chairman Jay Powell of the U.S. Federal Reserve did point to some possible reasons for a pause in rate hikes sometime next year. He pointed to some headwinds to the U.S. economy. He was overall very optimistic still and upbeat about the economy, but he did name 3 challenges, and those are slowing demand abroad, fading fiscal stimulus at home, as well as the lagging economic impact from the Fed's past rate hikes. The Fed is still widely expected to raise interest rates for a 4th time this year in December, and nothing about Fed Chairman Jay Powell's comments when he spoke at the Dallas Fed this week would make investors think otherwise. He was, as I mentioned, very upbeat about the economy. He played up the health of the economy, and he also downplayed some of the recent sell-offs that we've seen in stock markets.
And then with all the volatility in stock markets, some investors are putting billions of dollars into another market, art. How are we seeing this play out at the Sotheby's auction in New York?
Yeah, it's been a marathon of a week for art auctions here in New York City. A very good week for Sotheby's with these auctions. You might think that Brexit fears and trade tensions and market volatility would prevent buyers from spending more money on art, but maybe the opposite. They're seeing art as a little bit steadier than stocks these days. We've seen about $1 billion of sales in the first 3 days. Latest numbers looking more like $2 billion. And there were, just to give you an idea of some of the historic pieces that sold, Pablo Picasso, Rene Magritte, as well as Edward Hopper. And I spoke with someone over at Sotheby's today, and they said that They set a number of records with these auctions, including 3 for African American artists. Those are Jacob Lawrence, Henry Taylor, and Jack Whitten. So a very successful week for art auctions here in New York City. One billionaire jeweler investor even said that he was outbid on everything. So a good week for art.
Yeah, very good week indeed. We were joking in the office earlier that rich people still have money. That's why they're rich. Thanks so much for that, Bloomberg's Fiona Dagenhart in New York.